Beyond the pages, applying the wisest book to today's toughest problems. They say our modern world is unlike anything humanity has ever seen. They say our anxieties are new, our moral crises unprecedented, our confusion uniquely difficult. They say the challenges of our modern world are unlike the struggles of those who lived in the ancient world. But what if they're wrong? What if everything we suffer today, every dilemma, every crisis of meaning, every battle between truth and illusion is far older than we imagine? What if, buried beneath dust and time, there exists a text written long before the world knew electricity, before algorithms guided desire, before information drowned judgment, a book whose wisdom isn't outdated but timeless? A book that quietly understood the deepest patterns of human thought, emotion, and behavior long before we gave those patterns names. Imagine that such a book exists, a text whispered about across cultures, a manuscript some call a relic, others call a myth, and a few, those who have truly studied it, call the wisest book ever written. And now, in the heart of our chaotic, rapidly changing era, this ancient text is being opened again, not as a historical artifact, not as a sacred object, but as a guide, a lens, a key capable of decoding the dilemmas of the digital age with precision that feels almost supernatural. But this is not merely a story about the book. It is a story about us, about how human beings, despite all our advancement, remain fundamentally the same. We feel the same fears our ancestors felt. We run from the same shadows. We hunger for the same sense of direction. And this ancient manuscript, as if anticipating our confusion thousands of years in advance, holds insights that speak directly to our condition. It begins with a hook that would challenge any modern thinker. There is nothing new under the sun, except the illusion that something is new. And perhaps that is why this book matters today more than ever. We live in a world where newness is worshipped, new trends, new technologies, new identities, new truths. But beneath the surface of novelty lies an old familiar chaos, the kind of chaos ancient sages understood intimately. The kind of chaos they spent lifetimes trying to untangle. And through their struggles, observations, and revelations, they carved out teachings that continue to echo across centuries. The story of decoding this text begins in a quiet room, lit only by the pale glow of a desk lamp. A scholar unrolls a fragile manuscript, its symbols etched in fading ink. And as the brittle parchment cracks softly, the world outside, filled with noise, conflict, misinformation, and constant stimulation, feels suddenly distant, almost irrelevant. Every modern problem seems tiny in the presence of such ancient clarity. Every fear seems older than it appears. Every crisis of identity begins to resemble a pattern repeated across thousands of years of human existence. As we follow the unraveling of this book's wisdom, we discover that its first great message revolves around simplicity. Not the shallow simplicity found in motivational quotes or short-lived advice, but deep, structural simplicity, the kind that reveals hidden foundations beneath the complexity of life. The manuscript proposes that the human mind, untrained and unguarded, is naturally chaotic. It reacts before it understands. It consumes more than it can process. It leaps to conclusions before recognizing illusions. And so, the book begins with the oldest lesson known to every discipline of wisdom. Master your impulses before your impulses master you. Those 8 words could be printed as a critique of the digital age. Notifications, temptations, arguments, impulses triggered by sensational headlines, identity politics, algorithm-driven outrage, everything today is designed to provoke us faster than we can reflect. Our reactions are shaped by stimuli we barely understand, and our emotions are manipulated by forces we cannot see. The ancient writers might never have imagined Instagram or TikTok or political propaganda or misinformation networks, but they knew the heart. They knew the mind. They knew how easily human beings lose themselves when struck by unfiltered desire or fear. The scholar decoding the book notices that the text repeatedly warns against an external flood that overwhelms inner judgment. Back then, perhaps it referred to rumors, social tensions, or tribal conflicts. Today, it describes something far more powerful: the digital deluge, the endless ocean of data, opinions, arguments, falsehoods, and distractions we consume every waking hour. The book does not tell us to withdraw from the world. Instead, it teaches restraint. It teaches discernment. Do not borrow confusion from the world, it says. Seek understanding within. In those words lies a lesson modern humanity desperately needs. We do not suffer because technology exists. We suffer because we have lost the ability to control our relationship with it. We consume information uncritically. We expose our minds to chaos without filters. We let noise drown our inner compass. The book's teachings serve as a bridge between the ancient and the modern, transforming old wisdom into a living guide for navigating digital overwhelm. As the scholar continues reading, the next revelation emerges: the human search for meaning. Today we call it an identity crisis, a purpose crisis, a crisis of belief. We say we live in a post-truth world where everything is questioned and nothing is certain. But millennia ago, the writers of this book already understood this struggle. They described truth as something fragile, easily distorted by emotion, ambition, and fear. They describe meaning not as something discovered through passive searching, but as something forged through action. The book states boldly, purpose is not found, purpose is formed through duty, discipline, and devotion to something greater than desire. These words clash sharply with the modern expectation that purpose should feel effortless. Today, people are told to find their passion, follow their dreams, and discover their true purpose, as if meaning will fall into their laps through intuition or pleasure. But the ancient texts insist on the opposite. Meaning is built, not discovered. Meaning emerges from responsibility, not fantasy. Meaning is a consequence of commitment, not a reward for emotion. Modern society struggles with direction because it avoids the disciplines that generate meaning. The book, with its ancient frankness, challenges this avoidance. It explains that humans create meaning through work, through sacrifice, through moral effort, through aligning themselves with truths that endure beyond their immediate desires. In this way, the ancient wisdom becomes a lamp for a generation drowning in existential fog. As the story progresses, the manuscript transitions into what might be its most chillingly accurate description of the modern world: the age of anxiety. Though the ancient writers never use the word anxiety, their description is unmistakable. They write of a mind divided against itself, a heart that carries fear without understanding, and a soul burdened by invisible pressures. These phrases capture the essence of modern mental health struggles with uncanny precision. Anxiety in 2025 is widespread, magnified by social comparison, uncertainty, rapid change, and constant exposure to global crises. The book offers remedies that align closely with practices now validated by neuroscience: stillness, controlled breathing, mindful reflection, solitude, and inner dialogue. It teaches that the mind is not healed through distraction or denial, but through presence and understanding. It warns that constant noise, external or internal, makes the heart heavy. And its advice echoes what modern therapists teach: sit with your feelings. Do not run from them. Understand them. Let them unfold. This is the path to mental clarity.
The manuscript then shifts unexpectedly to interpersonal ethics, and here its relevance is almost unbelievable. In an age where relationships are mediated by screens, dating apps, curated profiles, and filtered illusions, the book's teachings feel prophetic. The writers describe the dangers of shallow bonds, performative affection, and the illusion of connection without understanding. They describe relationships built on desire rather than character, validation rather than love. They warn that such relationships, no matter how exciting they seem at first, collapse under the weight of real life. To this, they offer a principle that cuts deeper than any modern dating advice. To be understood, cultivate understanding. To be loved, practice love. The modern world obsesses over finding the right person. The ancient world reminds us to become the right person. That single shift transforms everything. It reveals why so many relationships fail, not because people are unworthy of love, but because few have cultivated the qualities required to build lasting connection: patience, empathy, listening, presence, character, integrity. Just as the reader begins absorbing these lessons, the ancient manuscript takes a turn toward what might be its most astonishingly relevant theme: the ethics of power. In modern times, power has taken a new form: artificial intelligence. Technology capable of recreating human creativity, analyzing human psychology, controlling information, automating decisions, and potentially reshaping civilization. Many fear it, many worship it. Few understand its long-term consequences. The ancient manuscript, in its mysterious wisdom, warns of such transformative power, not specifically of machines, but of any knowledge that exceeds human ethical maturity. It states, "Power without wisdom leads to ruin. Knowledge without compassion becomes a blade." This warning applies directly to our age. AI is not a threat by itself. It becomes a threat when guided by greed, carelessness, or ambition without responsibility. The ancient writers understood that technology, any technology, is only as moral as the people who use it. They call for ethics before innovation, meaning before power, compassion before progress. Their message is clear: humanity must never allow its inventions to outgrow its conscience. As the scholar closes the manuscript for the first time, something profound becomes clear. This book is not meant to be admired, it is meant to be lived. And so the story transitions from exploration to application. The book insists that wisdom must move from the page into the world, into actions, habits, conversations, decisions. It encourages daily rituals that seem small but reshape the mind over time. 1 minute of stillness each morning. A question before every decision: what is the wise thing to do? A commitment to integrity even when no one is watching. A conscious choice to listen, to reflect, to speak with intention. These practices transform the reader, slowly, quietly, permanently. But the book does not end there. It offers something rare: hope. Hope not rooted in fantasy, but in inner potential. It teaches that wisdom is not reserved for philosophers, monks, or sages. It is accessible to anyone willing to engage with life honestly. It declares that every person contains a spark of clarity, a buried light that grows as they seek truth, practice discipline, uphold integrity, and examine their own heart. In the final passages, the manuscript speaks directly to the reader with a voice that feels both ancient and eternal. The path is old, the seekers are new, but the journey is always the same. The message is unmistakable. Modern humans are not lost because the world is too complex. They are lost because they have forgotten the timeless path walked by generations before them.
The story ends not with certainty, but with transformation. The scholar who opened the book merely to understand it now realizes that the book has been understanding them. The dilemmas of 2025, mental turmoil, digital overload, moral confusion, relational instability, technological fear are not new at all. They are ancient struggles wearing modern costumes. And the solutions, though old, remain powerful, perhaps even more powerful now than when they were first written. In the silence of that room, the manuscript resting gently on the table, the modern world outside still buzzing with noise and urgency, a profound truth emerges. This ancient book, this collection of wisdom passed through centuries, has become a mirror, a compass, a quiet voice guiding humanity back to itself.
The story closes with the same invitation that opened it, to seek wisdom not as an escape from modern life, but as a way to master it, to walk into the future with the strength of ancient clarity, to embrace learning not as a chore, but as a path to freedom, and to step into the world with the confidence that wisdom, true wisdom, is not hidden in the past, but awakened within. For as long as humans exist, this book suggests, wisdom will remain our oldest companion and our greatest hope.
If you enjoyed this journey into the forgotten and the hidden, don't leave without subscribing. Your support helps this channel uncover more mysteries, more ancient truths, and more stories buried in time. Hit the subscribe button and join me as we continue unlocking the secrets of our world.